Okay.
Hello,
Hello.
everyone.
I
Hello,
forgot.
Naoto.
Hello,
Nice to
Jorge.
see
Just like
you.
we just
Format.
met.
Yeah, we just met. Is this triggering a different self when we speak like this in the chat when we know it's gonna be public? Is this not the same Naoto that I was talking before?
Well, there's no Naoto before, anyways. No,
For
no,
the
we.
people.
Yeah, I know. Um,
Yeah.
that's a good question. I mean, but it's in our lives, like constantly we shift different personas, right? Like persona or personality, because it's not always you talk with talk with friends, but talk with sometimes more like rather formal context. So I mean,
Right.
now we cannot talk about uh, I don't know, something bad about other people. I mean, we can, but
Now I cannot complain and say names about people who are not paying me enough to do my work.
but this is actually like I was thinking like so we go to Vienna, right? In already like 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Man, this is really happening. I was thinking that already, like, because I feel I just finished this like big work sessions for 3 months, and now I'm thinking like, okay, I can rest, but to be honest, like, we we have to be in Vienna. We said we will be in Vienna the 26th of July,
So
and
in
today's
3 weeks.
5, and then before I have to go to Rome and arrange other things because then after also I will go to Linz, and so I
Mm.
have to arrange things before I go. Things. And when are you going to Linz?
Austria, Linz, in 2 weeks.
So yeah, so you're leaving also. So in 2 weeks is when you travel there, like 20.
So I leave on 19th to Linz and one night there, and from the next following day I'll be in mountains, and then on 25th I should be in Vienna.
Right.
If you want to follow us, you know.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to do chats from different places.
This is something. So the reason why I said it about this Vienna is, at Impulse there's always performances. So what if we just do a chat every time, like we watch a performance and then we talk about that performance in a chat? I don't know.
Well, say it again. Say it again. I didn't understand what you said.
So we go to Impulse, and there's like performances like every day, everywhere. So we
Mhm.
just like watch performances and talk about it and in the chat. Most likely, we just talk about bullshit performances. Yeah, this was really bad.
This was bad. This was not good at all. But this is fun. I mean, like this make me think in this thing that I saw yesterday from Alan Platel in the coast in Ostend in this festival. Um, and then it was so good because also it was not super good. I don't know how to say it was. I mean, it was just the piece itself gives space to criticize, to enjoy. It has a lot of
Agency, or
yes, absolutely. As an audience, you feel
mm,
agent to go for whatever you want to go.
mm.
True. Yeah.
Because this is like the tricky part of the like perfecting something that you can only go worse than the perfection.
Yep.
You cannot exceed that. Well, I mean, some people would receive something more than perfection. I don't know, but you just spot all these. Oh, there was a mistake. There was this lighting was this bad. This is you can talk about these things, but that just doesn't make it interesting. And
Right.
if something is, I don't know, like if that performance was bad in a sense that, like, I don't know what sense that you would say bad, but if it's bad in a good sense, then yeah, we can just talk about, or or at least you just say, I would have done this way or I would have done that way, which is not a fun it's not a constructive discussion, but it's at least, make conversation going.
Uh,
I don't know.
yeah, no. I think that also something I was thinking this week was that because we are used to now these formats like so digital, and this is something that I feel very comfortable with doing, like dancing digitally. Then I was like more in a classical dance, contemporary dance setup, so people dancing on the stage. And one of the things that I was really not comfortable with was performances, in the sense of close to visual art performance, like so dealing a lot with identities and people who really have something to say in certain way. Could be because my position is in this way right now, like where I don't feel so comfortable with a message basically these days. Then I was easily irritated fast when somebody starts just saying something. um it felt pathetic to me. I was very drastic because the thing is, I was in my room, I was facing the stage from my room, so I could just basically from there more or less following up. And then even though what I was not like following, I could hear sometimes, I don't know, people speaking about stories or doing the performances more than the dancing itself. When there was dancing, I guess the only thing that's the thing with performances, you cannot, because they use cognition like or wording, but when you use words and out loud, it's difficult to ignore somebody telling you something that's very strong. If it's difficult to ignore somebody speaking about immigration or somebody dying in the
Right.
sea. you know it's not the same. While it's easier to, you can avoid people, if you see people dancing in a way that can catch your attention, but you easily can just let it go because it's not really sinking too much on you. um yeah.
You have to kind of actively extract something from it.
I think in one of the texts that we saw, the one that from the book of Daniel, I think from what Daniel wrote, I think he used this that we talk about Daniel Blanca Gubai, which is the director of the Kunsten Festival, the SARS in Brussels. And we talk at some point about his text, which was called, I have it here, it was called The Movement as a Living Non-Body. And he was basically using at some point, he was saying that at some point, he was falling in love with certain characters. Like in the text, he was saying sometimes in, that he sometimes forget about himself because basically he fall in love of this dancer or this one or something like this. And yeah, and I was thinking that in the process of how I experienced the dance that I saw yesterday, and the last time I saw something that was not melting pot, um, it was long time ago. I didn't see a piece in reality. Was long. I cannot even remember when was long time ago. And so this one was very nice because it allowed me to do whatever I wanted, to criticize, to just go to one of the dancers, to yeah, give back agency to me, and then I could enjoy the dance.
Yeah, I that reminds me of this choreographer. Once we were in it wasn't a panel, but like a short presentations, and she was basically talking about her piece with like using projection mapping to basically make shadows to animate. So it's not, like you cannot project shadows, but you can just project like white color with a cutout like silhouette of the body that becomes a shadow. And it's not just like on the backdrop, but everywhere on the stage. So it really looks like someone's walking around, but it's just a shadow. But it's just a video. Anyways, but
Yeah.
that part I don't know. It's kind of, to me it's a bit too technical, and I don't know if that's interesting to me. But what the inspiration of the piece was that she was saying that if she's got bored watching a dance piece, then she just start like watching the shadows on the stage,
Ah,
and that was the inspiration, and that was really like something. Yeah, like that part I really liked it, because it's basically like hacking into a performance or artwork, that to see something that in a way that it's not supposed to be,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but you find something interesting. Sometimes I do it also with art pieces. Like when I really get bored with an
But
exhibition, for example, I just like look at the labels, like the captions, and see what's interesting there, or what fonts they are using. Um, yeah.
but I think like this is because then we speak about this is mistakes, right? I mean, there are things that are not planned, and I think time it has a huge importance in those mistakes for happening. I was having this conversation with the DJ of Melting Pot, and he was saying that he and his wife they do also audiovisual compositions, but they don't really think too much in what they're doing, but they do a lot, and then they should let it rest for a while, and then they just come back, and then in that way they found interesting things. Uh, and that's just on the idea. If you keep on doing something that you think is good, and then you try to keep on perfecting, you won't have the space to let the things sink in your head and have a different vision of that.
Yeah, but that's also like kind of goes back to the idea of the medium. Like what do you really want to play with? Is it actually the form of, let's say, an audiovisual or the visual thing? Like you really want to make some kind of form that you imagine, or you actually play with the medium? Like what is it to like project something on the wall, or what is it to show something on the LED display or whatever? And if you play with the medium, then that works, because you step back and look it as a media, not just as a content, or the performance of the shadow, not as a content of what's happening on the stage.
Yeah, but I think that's the beauty like that you have with dance is that you everybody has a body, everybody moves, and then yeah, everybody relates to that. Everybody dance, everybody dance, but not everybody plays the music, but everybody can enjoy the music, right? And so you have this thing that is abstract and everybody can enjoy, and the problem becomes when the tools appear in a way, and because the tools are there to make some function, so to make it better the dance or something. And then always there is the problem, how much do I need to use a tool? What is the line in between uh, things to be perfect or not? And then going back to the performance, I think what was working is that they were dancing on the beach, right? So they have the sand, and so you see them struggling, but in a natural way. Each one was dealing a different way with their limitation as dancers in the beach, and during following the chorus of their movements, they were each of them in different ways. They were not making it perfect, and I think I don't know if that was consciously, but it was very clear that each of them they have different difficulties, and they were dealing differently with the tiredness and with the sand and with the rain and the whole thing. And that's why it make the pieces stand out, because you can actually feel each individual within a group of 14 dancers, and that was very interesting.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I cannot really speak for how do I say, like more classical type dance, but that is the problem, right? Because I like as a dancer, you have to, in a way, you have to become something empty if you want to become something perfect. You cannot manifest anything in a way because you just you have to perfect the movement, for example, or whatever technique. That's different from how your body works. It's not natural. I don't know.
Yeah, because we don't, yeah, because that's the problem like that I was dealing with like dance at some point is if when you are improvising, you're just supposed actually to let the dance go through you. I think at the beginning, when you're just dancing more for intuition with intuition, then it's more the joy of dance. But at some point, then you start putting things on top. So putting the technique, and then when you go back to the improvisation, you start very fast doing this. You start criticizing yourself. So you start composing. This is what we do in a practice, and then trying to hold too much to an ideal. So you're dealing with your wishes and desires constantly. How I would like to see myself.
And this we talked like a few months ago, or maybe even before, like last year, like about the flow, like how we get into the flow, and this kind of ideas, like how I look like, how do I want to look like. This basically blocks the flow, and you won't really get there. And is it because of experience, or is it something else? I think that's something we talked
Yeah,
before.
and I think it has to be also with this idea of, because yeah, this idea of just let it go and not staying on the thing, like, because you cannot avoid being Naoto and trying to, yeah, you cannot avoid being yourself. But then the difference is, let's say in a practice, is like how long you have to hold to an idea to let it pass through you fast, and to just adjust. And I think in that regard, I think we are lucky in the sense of doing this by two, because then you don't have too much time for reflect, because there is another part who is doing something. So you have to really fast to adjust and just go with.
Yeah. Yeah, like I think last month or maybe 2 months ago, I did a few times like practice by myself, but it's just hard, like probably like related to what you just said, but I cannot do it longer than like, let's say 30 minutes, because it's just so intense, and you just, constantly like aware of what you're doing. And there's like, if we do it together, for example, I can just, show you on my screen, and that's already something. But then I can kind of rest, not rest, but I can step backward to reflect on it, or just show myself that's okay because you are doing something. So it's constantly something's happening. But if I'm alone, then it's more about like the composition I have to think about, because there's nothing I can rely on.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not fun. That's the whole thing. Like I tried a few times, and it's like it's just not fun to do it alone.
Because because it should be fun. Like that's the way how I relate like with dance at some point. It was not fun anymore. So if you lose the thing that it brings you to that weird space that not too many people do, then it's just, if you lose the fun, there is no point of doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I think like also like I did like 1 hour of that was, let's say that was a performance like last year, alone, in one of these conferences. And that was like I managed to do it, and I think that kind of worked, because there was a chat that people are like talking about something, and I could sometimes reply to them. So it was not like completely alone, and there's some response from people, even if it's not like a huge traffic. Once in a while someone writes it's good, it's bad, whatever. But if I'm really like alone in a closet and do a practice for 1 hour, that's definitely not fun. I wouldn't think about it anymore, even to
Right.
try it.
Right.
But in that sense, I think the workshop idea would work well because it's not like closing to one person or ourselves, but it's supposed to open it to more people. I don't know. I how it works.
No, that's absolutely something that we are aiming now, and that's very exciting. Like how to share the framework, right? Like how to share the sandbox, and that's something that yes, I'm really looking forward. But maybe we should go close here because it's gonna be almost 2, and then maybe we should do a practice tomorrow or something like this. But maybe we can just close here, and then we just go back to the backstage.
Yeah. So thank you for watching.
You're coming to the impulse dance.
Yes, let's meet in Vienna. I mean, if you're in Vienna, or if you're coming to the symposium, drop us a line somehow, and we'll invite you. I don't know, whatever.
Yes, it's possible.
So please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.
Bye bye.